everyone, thank you for checking out this part 2 of Pink Floyd in the Flesh 1977 ticket collection. If you haven't seen part 1, I would highly recommend you check part 1 out first before watching part 2. You'll get all the necessary context for this part because I'm just going to go straight into it. The link to part 1 will be in the description below, so again, I would highly recommend you watch that before this part. So without further ado, let's get on with it. Alright, so this part covers June 15th through July 6th, 1977. So the first one here is June 15th, 1977. This is for Pink Floyd in the Flesh at the Milwaukee County Stadium. June 15th, 1977. This was a general admission show. And these were for field seats. The pink tickets were for field seats. So this is the start of the second leg of the In the Flesh tour in North America. The pig for Pigs 3 Different Ones was filled with a new mixture to give it a bigger boom. The boom, however, resulted in a massive fireball sending flaming pig chunks everywhere. After this show, no more pigs were exploded. And funny enough, we actually have a picture of the pig exploding. You can see the size of the fireball. So yeah, this is 2 halves of the ticket. This is also a quick ticket design, I forgot to say that. This was for Wednesday at 8 p.m. and the show was only $9 for field seats. So yeah, it's nice to have 2 parts. This is something rather interesting. This is a field pass for the show. So if you had field seats or field GA seats for the Milwaukee show, you were also given this pass to be worn around your neck throughout the duration of the show, just to tell security or employees that you have field seats and that's where you need to go. And it says no good for admission, but this is the only place that does it. There's other concerts that at the stadium that do this, but this is like the only kind of field pass example I've ever seen in my life. But it makes for a neat collectible. And you can see there it says, this pass must be worn through the duration of the Pink Floyd show. Landmark Production reserves the right to revoke the pass at any time. Not good for admission. Alright, so this next show doesn't have a lot of information about it. This is for Pink Floyd at the, it's a long name, Freedom Hall Kentucky Fair and Exposition Center in Louisville, Kentucky. For June 17th, 1977. This was again a general admission show. The ticket here was $6,060. And as you can tell, it's been ripped. It might have been a much longer ticket. And it's also a quick tick design. I really like the kind of font they chose right there. Very early years-esque, and the star as well in the background is something I've only seen with these kind of tickets. Not much to say about this show, so we'll move on to the second variation, is a Ticketron ticket. And to my knowledge, this is one of the only Ticketron versions of the show I've been able to find. Most people have the quick tick design here, but this one's really nice. I've never really seen one of these before. Again, general admission, $8.50. This is Bamboo Productions. Alright, so now on to one of the biggest shows of the North American tour is Soldier Field in Chicago. And this is actually a real unused ticket for the show. This is not 2 pieces glued together. This is indeed a real unused ticket. It does have some printing issues. You can see there, rain or shine, some bits under like bottles and coolers. There's also a big stain right there, and again the old crease is kind of jarring. So this show was absolutely huge. So many people. The promoter claimed that there was only 67,000 people in attendance this night, but Pink Floyd didn't believe that and hired a helicopter and a photographer to take photos and discovered that there was actually roughly 95,000 people in attendance for this show. 95,000 people. That's absolutely mental. You can see here that it was, it's hard to tell, but it's $10.60. And this was a Ticketron design. Nice full ticket, no writing on the back. So, we move on. Okay, now we get into personal territory. Next show is Pink Floyd at Kemper Arena here in Kansas City, Missouri. See here? This is the right piece to a full ticket. See here is $10, and this is for the lower level, section 136, row H, seat 7. You can see here it says Floyd. Alright, so let me tell you a little bit why it's personal to me. I am from Kansas City. I was born and raised here in Kansas City and the suburbs up north. And Kemper Arena, now named the Hy-Vee Arena, but if you're a local here and lived here for all your life, it's Kemper Arena. It's not Hy-Vee Arena. It's like T-Mobile Center now. It's always going to be Sprint Center, and it's not the... Gosh, I don't even know what it's called anymore. It's Sandstone. There's one out by the raceway. It's Sandstone. Anyway, so... This was the very first ticket I ever purchased for myself. And the very first ticket I ever purchased for the 1977 tour. Because back in the day, that's all I wanted. I really just wanted a Kansas City ticket. And there was one for sale. This was like $30, I think. I don't remember. Long time ago. You can see here it says Oid. And this was a contemporary production. And with KY102 as one of the promoters as well. You can see here, this doesn't look like a quick tick design, but this is definitely quick tick. It's just different kind of paper backing, I think. So yeah, this was the first ever ticket I purchased for myself and the first ever ticket for the 1977 collection. This one means a lot to me. But as you can tell, I have another one. This is also for Kemper Arena. And this is for the upper level. You can see here it's almost got the full Floyd on there. I'm really looking for the left half. And if you have one, please... Hey everyone, this is Editor Me here, coming in to say the reason I cut is because right after this, I would say if you had a left Kemper Arena ticket piece, I would love to purchase it from you. Well, I don't need it anymore. So, let me pull it up. Alright, there it is. There we go. This is for the lower level as well, section 120, row F, seat 9. You can see there, it's for Pink Floyd at Kemper Arena. Go. It's just so cool to see that. So, funny enough, with this ticket, I was at a convention with my friends, and an online friend of mine sent me a link to this listing on eBay with this ticket, and I purchased it immediately. It was the same friend that sent me the May 4th, 1977 ticket for Phoenix. So, again, I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you looking out for me. So, there it is in all of its glory. And what's funny about this was the last 77 ticket I really needed for the North American collection. So, I can officially say I am 100% done with Pink Floyd in the flesh for North America. Kind of crazy. Alright, back to the video. This is section 222, row K, seat 5. So the gray tickets like this were for the upper level, the green tickets were for the lower level, and there's also yellow tickets, which were for floor seats. So, a whole rainbow of tickets of sorts. I know what you guys are thinking. What is this? This is one of the most recent additions to my collection, and it is probably my favorite piece of the entire 77 collection. This is a touring party pass for Pink Floyd for the Kemper Arena show. I never knew that this existed. I didn't even know that there was... It's hard to put into words. When I first found this on eBay, just how ape I went. And I did everything in my power to get this in my collection. And it's here. You guys have no idea how happy this makes me. To have something so extraordinarily rare from such an obscure show. Because Kemp Arena, there's no bootlegs, there's hardly any photos, there's only, I think, 3 confirmed photos of Kemp Arena, and it was in a magazine of the Kansas City Times. I actually have a fun story about that real fast. So at my college, they have the little canisters of the archived newspapers that they had back in the day. And I requested if I could view the Kansas City Times, the specific newspaper, and it was there. And I printed off a few copies for me to have. I don't have them on me at the moment. You guys will never believe where I got this. This pass can be traced all the way back to Nick Mason's collection. So, the person I bought it from in the UK, their name was Lou. And so after a few messages back and forth, they sent me a message and, quote, "I was gifted the pass by late Brenda Dabbs, who worked in TV and movie industry. Her late husband was John Dabbs. They were friends with Nick Mason, and John restored and maintained Nick's collection of racing cars. There is information about them both on the internet. Many thanks, Lou." The timeline goes Nick Mason, John Dabbs, Brenda Dabbs, Lou, my friend Marcelo, who helped ship this across the seas, and me. If that isn't extraordinarily luck, I don't know what is. How I know this is real is in a Pink Floyd fanzine in the 1980s. I forget the name of it. I'll put it on screen right now. Inside there was a collection highlight page, and inside was passes from some guy's collection. There was 4 of them, and inside was the same touring party pass kind of design, but it was for June 29th, I'm pretty sure. It was for one of the Spectrum shows. So yeah, that's one of the reasons why I knew that this was real, is because I've seen it beforehand in a fanzine. So real fast before I put it back, the back of the pass, you can see the ink June 21st has gone through, but there's no like company name. See here, it's been folded a bit, but I'm trying to be so careful with it. But it is just absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so next up is the Riverfront Coliseum in Cincinnati. You see, this is a Ticketron design. This was for section 217, row K, seat 7, for June 23rd, 1977. This is another Enigma show. What's funny about this is that we have Super 8 footage, but no audience recording. No audio from the show exists, but a roll of Super 8 does, which is crazy. I love when that happens. Again, not much to talk about the show. Alright, next up is a venue issue pass of the same show, June 23rd, 1977, and this was for section 123, row Q, seat 4. I really prefer this design, honestly. I like the yellow, the red, and the kind of gray color. You can see back here, this is the Cincinnati Riverfront Coliseum restaurant thing, and just some general information. So yeah, I really dig this one a lot. Alright, so after Cincinnati, they traveled all the way to Cleveland, and this show is really big. Alright, let's start off with the first one I got. This is for Pink Floyd, World Series of Rock Cleveland Stadium, Cleveland, Ohio, Saturday, June 25th, 1977. This was $9.50, and it was a general admission show. It says, no bottles or cans allowed in the stadium. This was a Globe ticket, and it's kind of haggard on the back, but you can get the idea of the general information. But this show was really big. I think that there was 85,000 people in attendance. It set a world record for the stadium, I think. I personally love the bootleg to the show. My friend, Oaksma, released a matrix of this show, and I highly recommend you listen to it. The first set of this show is one of my favorites. I think Sheep and Pigs from the show is my favorite from the entire North American tour. It is just so good. I love it. Next up is the audit stub for the World Series of Rock shows. So this would have been torn off and like thrown to the ground or given back to you depending on if the security guard liked you or not. And this poor bastard got the short end of the stick. But you can see he made the best of it by writing stuff on it. You can see it says jet airplane flew over, was late, and it says 80,000 plus plus plus, Cleveland Stadium. This best concert ever. On the back it has the times, like 2 hours 23 minutes, 25 minutes of encore, 10-minute money. So yeah, I love it when tickets are personalized like this. Sure, it kind of devalues it, but still, it's such an amazing like piece of art in a way. I love it. So next up, if you purchased a Cleveland ticket from June 1st to June 24th, you got kind of greenish gray color, and this was for $10.50 rather than $9.50. So you had to pay an extra dollar if you were late to it. Same ticket for the same show, but this one's in much better shape. And if you purchased the tickets on the day of, they were $12.50. But rather interestingly, I can't find a $12.50 ticket for this show. They just don't exist. So what I think happened was they sold out of tickets for the stadium. They ran out of tickets essentially and didn't have any more. I could be wrong, but I haven't found a single $12.50 June 25th day of show ticket. If you have one, please comment, because I'd love to see it. And we got a Ticketron version. You just can't escape these Ticketron tickets. This is for the $9.50. It says Pink Floyd, and this is the World Series of Rock. Another general admission, $8.30. So yeah, Ticketron. I personally prefer these. These are so stylistically unique. I don't really care for these. They're just kind of bland, you know? When compared to these. Alright, now we're on to the final 2 pages. So 3, 2, and 1. Alright, so after Cleveland, Pink Floyd went to Boston, to the Boston Garden. See here, we have a Boston Garden ticket for June 27th, 1977. This is a very clean recording. This was one of my favorite 77 shows for the longest time. Just because set 1, set 2, and the encores were so solid. They were solid performance. The sound of the recording is very good, very solid. But my philosophy changed. Like, if the performance is better than sound quality, I'll prefer it, you know? Like, if the performance is much better, I much prefer that. That's why I like Cleveland. Sure, the audience recordings aren't the best, but the performance that they do is absolutely insane. So this one was staped in a program, and you can see here it says Lloyd, and up there it would have been Boston Garden. A full ticket of this show has never been found, so I'm not sure what the rest of this would have looked like. And this is actually the fullest ticket I've ever seen for Boston Garden. So most of the time they just give you back the purple bit right here. This is for a balcony seat, section 99, row E, seat 10, and it was for Monday evening. This was also a Globe ticket company. It's interesting that the Cleveland show and this show share the same ticket company, but the styles are so different. So this is the really common Boston Garden tickets. But there's also, funny enough, a Ticketron variation. So this is a Ticketron variation of Boston Garden. It may not look like it, but given the price, the section number, the date/event code, and other examples out there, I'm pretty certain that this is Boston Garden. It says Pink Floyd, also says Floyd there, 77. It doesn't have the band name on it, and This is the only Ticketron version of a Boston Garden ticket I've ever seen. But Ticketron was an outlet for the Boston Garden shows. And again, coupled with the price, the date/event code, the section numbers, and the fact it says Floyd and Pink Floyd, I believe this is Boston Garden. Alright, next up is a authentic backstage pass. I'm unsure on if this is Boston Garden. The seller was from Massachusetts, but there is no indication on here that says if it's for Boston Garden. I talked to my friend Philip Waters, and he told me that this pass is 100% legitimate. It's just, it could be any of the later June shows. It could be any of them. But the fact the seller was from Massachusetts, and I have space right here, I just decided to put it there. It's beautiful. You can see here it says backstage in the flesh. The fake ones, they say guest on them. There probably was real guest pass out there, but it seems those are the ones that are the most bootlegged in a way. Because these tickets, oh yeah, I'll get to this in a second. The backing on this one didn't have the Starliner. The Starliner brand didn't emerge until the very kind of early 83, early 82, I think. Kind of in between 1980 and 85, in between those. So if you have a pass from the 1970s and it has Starliner on the back, I'm sorry, but it's fake. That's one of the telltale signs to know if it's real or not. And you can see here the backing peeled off of mine on this one. You can see here it was kind of pinned on a wall. So let me put that back, let me grab the backing. So I keep the backing here in this sleeve. It is incredibly fragile. But yeah, this is the original backing that came with it. You can see it shows backstage. It looks like the ink has been worn off on it. And you can see there it says number 6. But yeah, look, I'm going to put this back real fast, but this isn't Starliner, this is just brown backing. There's no company indicating it. Back in the tomb you go. Alright, so the last June shows are at the Spectrum. And the first show is June 28th, 1977. Come on. There we go, at the Spectrum. This ticket is filthy. It looks like it's been rolled around in dirt. It's absolutely filthy. But it was fairly cheap, and I didn't have it, so I bought it. Not a lot is known about this show. There's no audience recording. A friend of mine did get a reel for the 28th. It was labeled the 28th, but it actually turned out to be the 29th as another recorder. So that was interesting. And you can see here it's section 28, row 6, seat 7. Alright, next up is a rather famous night if you know your Pink Floyd history. This is for the June 29th show at the Spectrum. This is the show where this is the infamous Comfortably Numb date. Roger had stomach cramps before the show began, so a doctor gave him some muscle relaxers to help the pain, and Roger said it was the longest 2 hours of his life. He couldn't really feel his fingers when he was playing, so it was a very miserable experience for Roger. And this is also a Ticketron version, section 8, row 11, seat 1. There is a ticket variation for the Spectrum shows. It is orange, I believe, and it says Spectrum in the background. I believe it's a venue issued ticket if you went up to the venue box office and bought it there. So this is the Comfortably Numb date. Very famous date. Alright, so that's it for the June shows. Now on to July and the 4-night run at Madison Square Garden. Oh boy, Madison Square Garden. This is when fireworks being brought to venues were really ramping up. You're getting close to 4th of July here in the United States, and people are stocking up on fireworks to celebrate our independence from the British. This is July 1st, 1977, for Pink Floyd. This was originally sold to me on a piece of white paper, and it said July 3rd. I purchased this thinking it was a July 3rd ticket until a friend of mine pointed out that it says Perf 1. And I was like, okay. But then if you look at like a July 3rd ticket, let me just get this real fast. It says Perf 3. Performance 3. So that led me to believe that this is actually a July 1st ticket because the date indicator was right here. It's been torn off. So the only way we know it's a first show is this right here, for this ticket anyways. You can see here that this was probably someone's kind of like writing pad. Not sure what that top band says up top, but it says 81. Toll, I'm guessing Jethro Tull in 77. In Pink Floyd, it says Led Zepp for Led Zeppelin, Genesis 78, Yes 78, and Springsteen 81. So I'm guessing that this was someone's ticket that he just wrote on, and all the other shows he went to go see, because these were legendary bands. Legendary. I just wish I knew what the top one said right there. Next up is a definitely confirmed July 1st, 1977 show, and you can also see right there, Perf 1, so Performance 1. This is for Enter Tower C, Gate 15, Lodge 45C, Row B, Seat 4 for Pink Floyd. This is a nice red ticket of their first show, and it does have some staple holes up top. See on the back here, it does have some writing, and not a lot to say about the first show. But the second show, people argue that it's one of their cleanest bootlegs out there. Some people label it as audiophile quality, which is, I can get, honestly. Like, I don't understand the hoopla around it. I understand why people would label it kind of audiophile quality, because it is really, really good. So this is for the second show, Perf 2. This is section 301, row J, seat 16. This is a very nice, clean ticket. A big running thing with these Madison Square Garden tickets is that they would give you back the smallest piece possible. I don't understand why these like security guards or ticket takers or whatever would just give you back the smallest piece known to man. Like, I want to have the band name on it. There was one guy on Facebook, I was reading the comments, he was like bending the ticket to almost to where it broke. So the ticket taker would take the really bent part, take that off, and like hand him back almost the full ticket. Really, really smart. Absolutely smart. Alright, so that's the first of the second show. I also have this one, which was the first one I purchased. It came in a lot of other tickets. See here, this is section 342, row J, seat 8 for second promenade. This one's in really rough shape. I think it was green, but it's very brown. This came with a bunch of other tickets that have browned over time. Alright, July 3rd, the biggest Madison Square Garden ticket I own. See here, it says Floyd in full, which is nice. I like how it says it. A very nice blue ticket. Very nice. This is for July 3rd. Section 435, row F, seat 7. The red doesn't show up on the blue all too well. It almost looks kind of black in certain lightings, but it's definitely red. Alright, so that's the third night. And the final show in the United States, July 4th, 1977. In July 4th. What could go wrong? July 4th, the holiday here in America. This July 4th ticket was stapled in a program. As you can see, there's some staple marks there. This is July 4th, Performance 4. This is for Lodge 7D, row A, seat 2. Very nice, clean ticket. Alright, so that's it for the United States shows. Next up is the most infamous Pink Floyd performance ever. Alright, so for the final ticket of the North American 1977 tour is July 6th, 1977 at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Canada. This was a Donald K. Donald Productions. This is a Ticketron ticket, which I'll talk about here in a moment. Section 460, row O, seat 11. Alright, so if you know your Pink Floyd history, you know what went down on this date. For people that don't know, let me give a little rundown. So, fireworks have been a ongoing issue across all of the shows, and it was getting to Roger. So, on this show, during Pigs on the Wing Part 2, a single firework somewhere in the stadium went off, and Roger snapped.
Oh, for fuck's sake, stop letting off fireworks and shouting and screaming. I'm trying to sing a song.
After that, the concert continued as normal, but during the song Money, a fan was trying to climb the stage, and that's when Roger really had it. He proceeded to spit on the fan. After Money, the crowd wanted more, so they did Us and Them, but the crowd wanted more. They wouldn't settle down. They then played something called Blues. The roadies didn't know what to do, so what equipment they could grab, they took off the stage. Bandmates were also leaving the stage throughout the song. The only people who were left on stage were Nick Mason and Roger Waters. This is arguably one of the most historically significant Pink Floyd shows ever. That single spit, the spitting incident, affected Roger in such a way to where he literally wanted to build a wall across himself and the audience. And for the next album and tour, he did just that. Most of you watching know about the spitting incident, just like the handful of you don't know about it. I'd highly recommend you look into it. If you find articles from way back in the day, and like people like Ray Ellis, he's gonna say that it happened during Pigs, but new Super 8 surfaced just recently, and it confirmed that it was during Money, not Pigs. So this is, like I said, that this is a Ticketron version of the ticket, but Ticketron is an American company. They sold tickets for the Montreal show in America, so this was an American ticket for a Canadian show. It's really rare. This is the only one I've ever seen of Montreal as a Ticketron ticket. Most of them were the other kind, which I have below, which I'll show you right now. This is a TRS. This is a TRS ticket. It says it right there, which stands for Ticket Reservation Systems of Canada. And this is a middle ticket. This would have had a left side and a right side. The only one left is the middle portion here. You can see here this is quite different to the Ticketron version. The red outline is much more thicker. Yeah, essentially, it is a Ticketron ticket, just a Canadian version. It's a very good show overall, and it makes it even more significant because of the spit, which led to the Wall album. And yeah, this is the final ticket of the In the Flesh shows from January 23rd through July 6th. This was the final show they performed live to support the Animals album. And that's it, folks. That's it. This has been one hell of a journey. And it was a hell of a journey to collect all these tickets. And I hope you enjoyed the video. From July 6th all the way to April 22nd, Pink Floyd performed in North America, and each show is quite significant in their own way. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope you all enjoyed the ramblings of a lunatic just speaking his heart out about stuff he loves. And hopefully, here very soon, I can show you all another ticket collection I've been working up. Take care, folks. Hope you have a great rest of your day, evening, night, wherever you are in the world. Have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.